We are misleading people by telling them that it is a tax. It is not a tax. It is a saving. It is a saving and a contribution towards owning a home. All right? It is not a tax. And people, unfortunately, are called, it is not a tax. It is a saving, a contribution, right? That ultimately, even if you don't get a house, right, that money goes back to the individual.
Plan. I talked about it in the campaign everywhere. And I promised the people of Kenya, if you elect me president, this housing thing, I am going to use it to get jobs for our young people and to remove Kenyans from slums. So it is not something that I arrived in office and I started. If you read the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza, it is a big chapter. In fact, I was asking some of the MPs that were trying to say, oh, you know, I asked them, when me and you were standing on the podium and told the people of Kenya, elect us, we are going to arrange for housing so that you thought it was a joke. This is not a tax.
Okay, why
it is your money.
Okay, why then, Mr. President, if it's not a tax, if that bill hypothetically say is passed by the National Assembly, it's legally binding?
Yeah, of course.
It's not a tax, you said?
It is not a tax.
Why would I contribute? And if I don't want?
That's what the law says.
But why are you passing it?
Yeah, the question I am asking you is, are you saying, Abdi, that you don't think it is your business to contribute to the employment of the unemployed Kenyans?
Okay, it's the responsibility.
It is not your business.
Okay, hang on, Mr. President.
Who is Kenyan government? Kenyan government is me and you.
Hang on, Mr. President. You saw the mandate of the Kenyan people.
Exactly.
There is a we can't represent all of us.
Yes.
I worked hard for my money.
Yes.
You said it's not tax. But there is a bill in Parliament. If it's passed, it's legally binding. Why would I make a contribution for others to succeed? It's your business as the government. You are the head of state. You have the responsibility. You have the mandate.
That's why the Constitution gives me the power to tax.
But it's you who is leading the
government.
That's
why the Constitution gives me the power to sign things into law.
Okay.
You know? So I am simply doing my job.
Mr. President, let's get the specifics very clear.
Yeah.
It's a very simple issue.
Yes.
You are saying it's not a tax.
It is not a tax.
That's the Commander-in-Chief saying.
Yes, it is not a tax.
Hang on, let's go step by step.
Yes.
There is a bill that will come before Parliament.
Absolutely.
Hypothetically, let's say it's passed. If it's not a tax, why would I contribute?
Because it is the law.
The law, Mr. President.
Once it is passed, it is the law.
Okay, meaning then it's a tax, and you understand it's a tax.
Yeah, once it is passed, it is the law, and you have to contribute. Let me ask you.
One rider, Mr. President.
Let me ask you. Just allow me. Let me ask you, Abdi. Do you know that today you contribute 6% of your salary to NSSF?
Correct.
Why? It is not a tax.
Mr. President,
hang on.
On that, Mr. President.
Okay. It's the same thing.
Okay,
it is the law.
The issue.
We are misleading people by telling them that it is a tax. It is not a tax. It is a saving. It is a saving and a contribution towards owning a home. All right? It is not a tax. And people, unfortunately, are called, it is not a tax. It is a saving, a contribution, right? That ultimately, even if you don't get a house, right, that money goes back to the individual.
This really should be made a part and parcel of the government policy.
To realize this, the former Prime Minister says he will seek to revive the housing levy that was proposed by the government of President Uhuru Kenyatta but shot down by the Atwoli-led Central Organization of Trade Unions.
It was a very good policy. A housing levy where the employee would be contributing 1.5%, the employer 1.5%, and that will go into a pool of a fund. That fund can enable us to roll out massive housing development in our country. I will talk to the trade union Kotu, which led the opposition to introduction of that law. And the leadership, Mr. Atwoli, assured me they will cooperate with us.
Should the Azimio One Kenya political camp emerge victorious in the forthcoming general elections, Raila says his government will not spare anyone accused of grabbing public land.
In Nairobi, nearly 60% of the population live in slums. You have Kibera, you have Ukuru Kwanjenga, you have Madare, you have Kawangware, and so on. This is also seen here in Kisumu. There is a shortage of housing, formal housing. This is something that needs to be arrested and reversed. One is, if I want to invest, I must have a choice where I want to invest. I should not be forced to invest in this venture or this other venture. And if you're telling me that it is an investment, then you must tell me what kind of interest am I going to get out of it, so that I can make up my mind whether I want to take my money to the financial market, or I want to invest my money, put my money as a deposit in the bank to earn an interest. But there must be a choice. There must be consultation.